as salespeople, we need to realize that we've got to perform every day. We've got to get in the morning, get our game face on, and get on stage. And I think about that as I walk into the office every day going, you know what? Am I going to just exist? Am I going to be a bump on the log? Am I just going to go through the day? Or am I going to make it count? And if I don't have the energy to make it count, if I wake up with a splitting headache, or if I just feel too far gone, then call it out. But if you're feeling a little, if you're feeling a little hot, if you're feeling a little unmotivated, you got to shove that shit down. You got to gear up. You got to perform. You got to step into it. Yeah. And it was really cool because right before this call, Chris, I was on with a guy that wants to come work for us in my LA office. And, my big concern about anybody becoming a loan officer right now or putting themselves out there is the fact that we must realize that we are in sales. This is a sales job. This is a job where you've got to bring more energy to the table than the person you're meeting. Yeah. If your person is at an 8 in energy, you better bring a 9. If the person's at a 4, you better be a 6, but you can't just exist and think about how you feel. And if you feel up to it, you got to be willing to fanatically prospect, step up to the plate, perform every day. Yeah. And if that doesn't sound fun to you, it's time to get out of the business. Yeah. Because I think so many people, Chris, you tell me, and we'll get into this, but this is my rave for the morning, my rant, is that so many people have stayed in this industry the last 4 or 5 years because they love loans. They love solving the problem and holding people's hand, and handing out those keys and providing great customer service. Okay, yay. But that's got to be the minimum bar to do this. If that's what you really, really love, you should be a loan partner to somebody who's a fanatical prospector, to somebody who makes it rain, who is bold, who is the lead actor in the play, who's putting themselves out there and getting uncomfortable. And so today we're going to talk about your system. You so inspired me back in December, introduced by one of my favorite students, friends, now coach, now mentor, Mr. Chris Vinson. Yeah. Because you came up with this thing called 100 Agents in 100 Days. So Chris, where did that come from? And what is the success you've seen from it?
So the 100 Agents in 100 Days came from, as you know, I'm in the core and just from talking to other people and things like that. But it's I took different pieces from different people. Yep. Throughout my journey in the core. So I started off with, you just got to go meet people. And I was like, all right, I'll just go meet people. And then it was there has to be a better way. And then somebody brought up something about that they send out an email to the agent before they go to the open house. And I was like, oh, that's kind of smart. And then, so I tried that. And then it's just kind of been little things that I've plugged in and changed. And then I noticed, every once in a while I'll do an open house with an agent. And from there, I noticed, a loan officer would come in and he would have a bag of goodies. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, but it could be better, Yes. And so I started making it more about the agent and catering to that agent to help them. And it's kind of funny. I just had this on my desk right here. This is the folder that I bring. I don't bring them food or anything like that. I bring them this folder, and in the folder, and I'll go over it in my speech, but in the folder and I was just doing this weekend. I do this every single weekend. I do it twice a year. I do it at the beginning of the year and I do it to finish out the year. So
sorry, when you say I do it, you do a sprint, 100 agents and 100.
Yeah, that's the it. So I do a sprint of 100 and 100 at the beginning of the year and 100 and 100 at the end of the year. And so or
the midway point. Is that what you're saying? You do it in January and you do it in the summer.
Yeah, exactly. Love it. So I kind of start the year that way, and I do the back half of the year just so that I always have something going on. And it also helps me keep my greatness tracker full.
Yes. So just to recap this, what are we doing and why are we having this conversation? Listen, if you want massive results, you've got to take massive action.
Yeah.
And so many people right now are going, I don't even know what action to take. I feel like everything that I've done my entire career all of a sudden doesn't work. Things aren't producing the results. And then what do? We get stuck in our head. We start going, maybe I'm not good at this anymore. Maybe people don't like me anymore. Maybe the market's evolved and the modern loan officer of the future who's focused on, their personal brand and all that. I've got to focus there. And then we start chasing shiny objects. And what you said at the beginning is what Rick Ruby told me at the very beginning of being coached, which is like, listen, it's about prospecting. It's not about marketing. It's about prospecting, which means it's about building relationships. Do you build relationships with every single person you meet, Chris? Hell no.
Absolutely not. No.
You meet some people and you're like, nice to meet you. Hope I never see you again.
So it's kind of funny you say that, because the 10 that I hit this weekend, I literally crossed their names out on the sheet and was like, nah, no need to follow up with those people. So I only really kind of had a conversation with 8 of them.
Wow. So you met with 10, you enjoyed 8 conversations. How many will you follow up with?
Oh, I'll follow up with all 8, and then they're going to go into our ongoing marketing. But of those 8, there's only going to be 2. I think there's 2 or 3, I can't remember, that we're going to really focus on because they actually produce. The other ones were just kind of, hey, this is my first open house, stuff like that.
Okay. So just to frame up this conversation, Chris, you're in Sacramento, California. Yes. You're a producing team leader. You run a team. Yes. You are coached and held accountable. Obviously, still very driven. If you run 2 sprints per year, how long have you been doing this? Not the sprints. How long have you been a loan officer?
I launched my own thing in 2013.
But how long total have you been an LO?
Oh, since 2001.
Okay. Yeah. So 22 years doing this.
Yeah.
And guess what, guys? It's still a freaking grind. Yes, it's a grind. And just own it. And guess what? Average knuckleheads, I don't know about you, Chris, but I've got a high school diploma. I don't know about a lot of stuff, right? I was just meeting with a friend who's very wealthy and successful. And he goes, guys, you don't know anything about current affairs, about political things, about that. I go, nope, 0. I turn off. My brain has very limited space and I've gotten really, really good at this thing. And I've focused and I've taken massive action. And that's how I've made millions of dollars in this industry. And I've helped other very average people with this above average desire become successful, become confident, build a team, continue to rise through new challenges because we figured out how to get good at this thing. Okay. Yeah. So I'm very proud of you, Chris, to be 22 years in the game, still grinding, still at 10 open houses this last weekend. Yeah. And you've also mentored other loan officers to do the 100 agents in 100 days. So what were their success in terms of leads or closings from running a sprint like this?
So my junior loan officer, Letty, was brand spanking new to the business. I mean, so new. She couldn't spell loan, right? It was, so new. And I put her on that and I figured, hey, I'm going to do this with you too, just to keep, we did it at the same time, right? So she has been fully licensed now for going on 7 months.
Wow. So in January, was it in January when you started?
I started her before she was licensed so that she would pick off the ground when.
I thought so. And so did she do it? Did she meet 100 agents in 100 days?
She met 138.
Wow.
Yeah. So she is an assassin. It's just awesome. Very unassuming person. She looks like she's 15 years old. She has that drive, that just constant drive to keep going, which I think is phenomenal, and it's what you need for sure. So we were going toe to toe. Then she just ended up blowing me out of the water towards the end because at 100, I was like, I'm done, and she's like, forget it. I need to meet more people. So she met some great agents. And then just the reputation of our team and everything else had elevated her to be on a different level than other brand new loan officers, right?
Yep.
So she has really done very well. I think she's she's closing like 6 this month so far. So she's been licensed 6 months. She's closing 6 this month. She is, I think for the year, I could look back, but I think she's at like 18 deals so far for this year. And she's just constantly increasing. She's getting into real estate offices now. She's just building that camaraderie with people.
Okay, I got to show you. This also came from Chris Vinson, but we are starting to read this book the next 6 months, Fanatical Prospecting. And if this story, if Letty's story doesn't just prove the point that it is a contact sport. It is about getting out and meeting people and putting yourself out there and getting uncomfortable, being embarrassed, feeling the butterflies and doing it anyway. And so how many loan officers do we know that would be loved to be closing 6 loans this month?
Yeah.
But they haven't done what Letty's done, right?
Yeah.
Now, hopefully your only excuse is, I just haven't had a system. I haven't had the how, because today, Chris and I are going to now go into the how. But I always like to hammer on the fact that this industry does not care how old you are, how much experience you have, male, female, black, white, purple, yellow, educated or not. It doesn't, which is what is so freaking awesome about it. There's no room to play victim or to make an excuse. It's about, are you willing to fanatically prospect every single day?
I just wrote that book down, by the way.
We're doing it. I'm talking about it every single week. I bought everybody a copy. I'm getting real estate brokers to get their people on it. Because here's why, Chris, in this year, being as hard as it is, there will be people that have their best year ever in this market.
100%.
And there will be people who get out of the business because of this market.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how talented you are. Are you talented and fanatically prospecting? A last story, I was out of town and met a bunch of new friends last week. And one of the agents had closed $17 million worth of business last year, had 6 or 8 years of experience, always had been busy. Year to date has not closed anything since January. Okay. This is a good looking guy who knows what he's doing, total professional, really likable, and he's putting up a goose egg.
Yeah.
Because he's not fanatically prospecting. I get people that ask for coaching and want to do one-on-ones or want to talk about coming to Guild and working for us or other managers that I've got. And, I talked to a guy who closed 91 deals in 2021 and he's closed 8 deals this year.
Wow.
8.
Wow.
And so I started peeling it apart, Chris, and said, okay, well, where'd you get your business when you were doing 91 deals? And he's like, oh, well, friends, family, networking. I do a lot of networking groups. I got a podcast, but he really only worked with 3 or 4 real estate agents.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I thought I got to call Chris Kennedy because guys, right now, when interest rates are 7% or 11% or 6%, the professional in the world that makes their money, that lives and dies and feeds their family by the same client is a real estate agent.
Yeah.
We have got to put ourselves in front of real estate agents and ask how we can help them make money. If they're not making any money, we aren't making any money. And it pissed me off meeting this real estate agent, Chris, to say, how long have you been working with your loan officer? Why do you work with them? And he goes, oh, well, he did my loan back in the day and he did a good job. So I've just stayed loyal and worked with him.
Yeah.
I'm going, okay, but that loan officer is your partner. And what have you two done together since January to help drive business in your door? And he's like, oh, I want to be that kind of loan officer that's valuable. And I know you do too. So how do you see 100
I'm
people
constantly
in 100
working
days?
with the agents on that. I'm constantly like, hey, what can we do? How about this? Let's do a buyer's class. Let's have that. We do teachers lunches. We go to schools and do lunches for all the teachers together. And we just make it like it's just us. It's us battling, to make business.
I'm glad you said that because it takes energy and it takes teamwork. Like a sales environment requires energy. And when you're at home all by yourself and you're a real estate agent, and you live in your car, where's the energy? How can we as loan officers bring energy to the picture so that we can keep the momentum going in those sales conversations and meetings? Okay, so how do you get 100 agents in 100 days? Let's break down tactically how to do it so there's no excuses. We all can go out and make it happen.
For sure. So the first thing is when when you first start, we go to MLS, look up all of the, open houses. I keep a very tight, I just do like one zip code. And I have the exact zip codes that I personally like to do because they're pretty close to my house. I can go out. It's the price range that I want to hit, all that kind of stuff. So MLS, look up the zip codes. You can do it on Zillow as well. It's 100% free. We pay to be MLS. And then we send the agents that are holding the open house, we send them an email letting them know that we're going to be stopping by. We're going to drop off some helpful information for them to prosper in this market. Okay. From there, now the nice thing about that is you're going to get emails back, and you will find that a lot of those people that get that email will go, God, thank you. I look forward to meeting you. Or
Wow.
they'll say, no, I've got a loan officer here. You might not want to stop by. Hey, you could skip that, add on another one, whatever it is, but at least that. And here's the thing, it also holds you accountable, because if you don't show, you're kind of junk anyway. So then they're not going to ever want to deal with you when it comes time to it. Right. So if you show up and do exactly what you told them you're going to do, then they kind of respect you for that, just showing up. And when you get there, it's so cool. They're like, hey, oh, that's right, I got your email. Even if they didn't reply, I got your email. Look forward to meeting you, blah, blah, blah. Right. So that's pretty good. Then the next thing, I don't know if you saw this earlier, but I do have this here, which is my real estate emergency kit. This works so good that we started getting knocked off all over the place. I mean, we were getting knocked off like a Louis Vuitton in China. It was just constant, right? We started seeing it pop up all over Instagram. Oh, look at this cool thing that I got from my lender, and it wasn't us. So people were taking it to an all new level. In that folder, we have all kinds of stuff in there. So we have objections and rebuttals and just different things. Interest rates are too high. The market's going to crash. Why buy when the market will go down? Or I'm going to wait until whenever. And we have all the rebuttals to those objections that they hear every single day. We also put in there a rent versus buy scenario, things like that. We created it from MBS Highway, but you guys can find free stuff on all over the internet on rent versus buy. You put in whatever the purchase price of the house is, and you can do a complete rent versus buy scenario within there, showing the value of the house over time with inflation, all that kind of stuff. We also do like how to wow your clients. So this is everything from like a pre-approval listing packet, driveway call, all kinds of stuff for them to start tailoring their experience around their clients to help them sell more homes or to help them get that listing when it comes across them to them. We also have in there the We Need Your Help form. This is like one of the best forms ever. It just basically teaches them how to ask for a referral, when to ask for a referral, why to ask for a referral. We have a little write-up. We include the form in there. And then we do what I love, which is situational awareness. I am so over the top about situational awareness. I always want to make sure that an agent, when they're doing open houses, all kinds of bad things can happen. Some weirdo comes in, something like that. What to do, how to plan for it, getting there a little bit early, knowing your surroundings, knowing how to get out of the house, knowing which doors are locked or jammed. Can you get out through the garage door if some weirdo was to come in? We put all that kind of stuff in there.
That's awesome.
And then finally, the last page is just a bio on me or whoever it is and how long we've been in business, what we do in there, it has my website and things like that.
So Chris, let me pause you for a minute.
Yep.
So your goal is to meet 100 agents in 100 days.
Yeah.
And you're primarily doing this through open houses.
Yes.
And you're meeting them at the open house, which I just must say to everybody, look, there's so many people have said, I don't want to work the weekends. I've been doing this for 20 years, just like Chris. And I want to be mountain biking on the weekends, or I want to be on the boat or at church or wherever the case is.
Cool.
So how have you gotten over that with your family and your life? It sounds like you do 2 sprints a year. So mentally you could prepare like, this is going to be 10 weekends or 12 weekends.
Yep.
How do you get over that objection with yourself?
Super. So because we keep it one zip code and because we keep it tight, I'm in and out in an hour and a half. I'm done. Like it's just done. I mean, family barely knows I'm gone, right? They're doing their own thing. And I'm just like, hey, hun, I'm going to go hit open houses real quick. She's like, see ya. And I'll be back. Like,
Now, are you dressed the way you're dressed today? Like you're in the office guy, or do you dress a little different, like going to open house?
I usually dress casual when I go to open houses, not sloppy, but I dress casual. So I wear a polo, I wear, pants or shorts and a pair of shoes. I'm not going to wear dress shoes and a dress shirt with a tie or anything like that.
Okay,
I just want it to be a little bit more approachable.
awesome. And the other thing I want to say, guys, about open houses is that every time I go to an open house, I gain more appreciation for realtors. One of the things that I've heard from loan officers a lot is they go, God, I hate realtors. And I'm like, oh, well, that's your problem. Like, just get out of the business then, because you need to love the game. Yes, most real estate agents, like loan officers, doesn't have any prerequisites. So do they go to college? Maybe, maybe not. Do they have a previous career? Maybe, maybe not. Do they have any sales experience? Maybe, maybe not. So it's a mixed bag of people and desire and talent and motivation and loyalty and all those things, right? But I am always able to regain my appreciation for real estate agents by going to an open house. First of all, they're going to sit there in a vacant property for 3 hours or 4 hours that may or may not have air conditioning. They're going to have to sit there and talk to strangers who don't want to give them information, who are coming in probably like, oh, you're trying to sell me something, and they've got to work to warm them up. And I'm sitting in an air-conditioned office that I'm hopefully getting highly referred from that agent who sat for 3 hours. So it always really gives me an opportunity to appreciate my partners and what they have to do in order to earn a lead that they then refer me, which gratitude is a huge component of this. The second thing is, if you want to find people who are working, because that's a challenge for all of us. We're all trying to find a needle in a haystack sometimes, where there's a lot of people who are like, they've just resigned, that the market is slow, it's dead, whatever. I'm just going to be golfing. A couple of my friends last week were like, yeah, I'm just golfing about 3 or 4 days a week.
See, that's what I look forward to, because I know that I'm doing the work and they're not. So it makes me happy.
Oh, you mean your competitors are golfing and you're not, and you're working?
Oh, I love that. Like, yeah, go ahead, play golf, go on vacation, go do that. Like, because I know that I'm doing something that they're not. And then when I do take a vacation, I know I put in the work to earn that vacation.
Absolutely. No, that's great. And from the opposite end of that, a realtor who is working at an open house is actively seeking buyers to sell a house.
Yes.
So I am, instead of like, I'm going to call a list of 100 people to find the 5 that are working this week that are hustling and prospecting for buyer opportunities.
Yeah.
I'm going directly to the people. I know they're hustling and looking for buyer opportunities because they're sitting on their Saturday or their Sunday in an open house. Yeah. So it kind of cuts through to go, who's working? Let me go find the people who are working.
Yeah.
So let's go into a role play, Chris. So I'm Shayla. I'm sitting in an open house. You've sent me an email the Thursday or Friday before. I'm assuming that I went on Zillow and said, I want to be in zip code 89511, and I'm looking for what houses are going to be open this Saturday. I kind of do my route. I strategically figure out on Google Maps where to go. I get my packets ready to go. Yep. And on Saturday morning, boom, they're in the car. I prearranged with my husband. Hey, babe, you get the kids from 10 to 11:30. I'm going to crank out these 10. That's kind of how your week prep and weekend go. Is that right?
Yeah, I do 5 on Saturday, 5 on Sunday. That way, you know what, if you go, I've tried to go more. I will tell you 5 is the perfect number. You can get it done. Around 4, you're like, I don't want to hit that last one, but you still do anyway, because it's just one more, It's
just one more.
Yeah.
Just one more. And if you got, 100 divided by 5 is 20 days. So we're talking about 20 weekend days.
Yeah.
And you can get that done over a full quarter, over 3 months. So you can get that done over, exactly 10 weekends in a row. Yeah. Okay. So now you're walking into the house and you've sent me an email on Friday saying, hey, Shayla, I'm so excited about the listing you're going to be holding open at 123 Main Street. I'm a loan officer and I'm going to come by. I'd love to meet you and see the property. And I'm also going to bring some helpful information that'll allow you to prosper in this market. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Is that Okay. So now you walked in. So what are you saying?
I got their name and everything. I walk in. Hey, Shayla, how are you doing? It's Chris. Remember I sent you the email. Here you go. Here's the packet. And then I make a little bit of small talk with them, and I kind of check out the house. Just walk around. Then I start talking to them about the house. So from there, it would be like, hey, how's it been today? What's been going on? How many people have been through? Go ahead. How many people have been through today?
Oh, okay. Gosh, I just started about an hour ago. I think we've had 2 people so far.
Nice. Anybody good?
Yeah, one couple seem to be like buyers. Yeah, I'm excited about them.
Nice. Did you get their contact information? You're going to be following up with them?
Yes, I got the wife's Instagram actually. So we've already friended each other on Instagram.
So it sounds like you're going to be putting something good together if you're already friends on Instagram.
I hope so. I mean, this is why I sit out here, is to hopefully meet people that become friends and then clients.
Yeah. And then I just really kind of just try to like genuinely, so what from here I would kind of go into, so it's taking up 3 hours of your Saturday. Like, what do you normally do on Saturdays?
Oh, we love to go boating, Chris. We're way big into wake surfing right now. My 2 daughters have just gotten up and are fully getting it this summer. So that's what we love to do on the weekend.
You on a boat?
Yeah.
Oh, where do you go ski at?
Oh, we're in Lake Tahoe.
Okay, you are in Lake Tahoe. I forgot you're in Lake Tahoe. Sorry. I'm so used to Folsom Lake. So, no, that's awesome. So, how long have you been doing that?
I grew up water skiing and wakeboarding and stuff. So it's kind of been a prerequisite that in the summer I got to be on a boat somewhere. It's my happy place.
Yeah, awesome. Well, hey, I don't want to take up a bunch of your time. I know you're going to probably have some people coming in just a few minutes. Let me just go through this packet with you. At this time, I would go through the packet with them, just kind of explain how it's going to help them. Take a look at all this helpful information. It's really solid, stuff for you to help you sell some more in this market. I know it's kind of a crazy market and hard times right now, but if you stick to a lot of this stuff, or if you want help with any of this stuff, I'm happy to take care of you and help you out. I'm going to get going, get out of your hair, but like I said, you'll probably be hearing from me. And then I take off and I just go from place to place to place.
Okay, so that was really light. So there was no goal there for you to book.
There's no goal. There's no goal. It's just to bring across the personality, to get to know the person a little bit, find out their likes and dislikes, things of that nature. And then from there, that's Monday is when the true sales part begins. So on Monday,
I'm going to stop you right there for a second though. You hand this packet and you set it down. So first it's about the house is beautiful. I'd love to look around. And you said, I told you, I'm not sure if you got my email yesterday, but I said I'd be stopping by and I'm bringing you this really helpful information. We'll look at it in a second, but thank you for having me. Can I look around at the house? Is that kind of how you say what this packet is?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. And then they might open it and flip around while you're cruising around, or is that how?
Yeah, usually that's how it goes. It's very spontaneous. I don't really have a script. It's just how I'm feeling about that person, really, at the end of the day. But I'm not doing a hard sell. I'm not doing a major sell while I'm there. I kind of do the sale afterwards. So because I want to bring them back and I want to start to build this rapport with them. I'm all about the relationship as opposed to just going in for the kill right away, if that makes sense. Like I could have gone for, hey, if those people need my help, like they don't know me yet. So why do they want my help?
I'm so glad that you said that, because I think we either don't ever go in for the kill or we go in for it right away and it's tacky.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to go when you go in for the kill, but I want to rewind that again, because I believe, guys, in a sales situation, or really any situation, you've got to set the intention for what do I want this person to feel. Remember, people will never remember what you said. They'll never remember what you did, but they will remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
So what is your energy like? What is your enthusiasm? How warm and open are you? Chris, if you were to sit out in front of the house in your car and you're like, okay, I'm going in, this is the first time you've ever done this and you got 100 ahead of you and you're not very confident, you're new in the business, whatever. Let's say you're Letty,
Yeah.
and you look 15, right?
Yeah.
And you've never done a loan in your life. When you leave, what are you hoping they think or say about you, Chris? What is your personal intention
So
on the impression you leave?
mine, and just even talking with my coach, like I am all about reputation. I want to have a great reputation. I want people to truly love working with me and truly enjoy me as a person. So that's what I set. I don't come across cheesy in that way, but I want to get to know that person and bring them into my world, as opposed to me trying to join their world. I want them to enjoy me.
Well, and I'm just going to pause because I have loved and enjoyed you and your reputation as a guy that's a giver. I mean, you helped me with this same topic back in December for my loan officers at our end of year planning retreat. And
Yeah.
then I just hit you up again and said, I've been thinking about you and what you did for me. And would you be willing? And boom, you're right there as a giver again.
Yeah.
And I just don't think, guys, that we'd focus on this enough. Like, who are you as a business professional and just as a person in general? And if you can get really clear on your character and who you are and what you stand for and live it every day and show up big, the rewards will compound over time. Absolutely. Like, Chris, you call me and ask me for anything, I'm yours.
Yeah.
I'll help you. I'll do whatever you want because of the way you've shown up for me, right?
Yeah.
This is how simple it is. We can't
Yeah.
usually overcomplicate. So let's just go to the questions and then we're going to talk about how you attack it on Monday with sales. Yes, Chris, you've said you're willing to share a QR code where you give everybody what's in your packet and all that stuff, which is really cool. Let's see. John said, that's okay if they don't want to work the weekend. I'll take those realtors. Thank you, John. That is the case, right?
It is.
That overnight success, like how did that loan officer be an overnight success? Yeah, they were probably working in the dark when everyone else.
One thing about that, John, is when the market first changed, I saw a lot of loan officers holding open houses with agents. I saw a lot of that type of stuff. When I was holding an open house with an agent, loan officers would come in. I don't see any of that anymore. And it just makes it all the better for people that are willing to go out there and do what I'm saying.
Isn't that interesting? People are more starving and hungry than they were 6 months ago, and yet they're doing less.
Yeah.
Right? Because guess what, guys? A lot of times when we get scared, we freeze.
Yeah.
So when you feel fear, do you freeze or do you allow the fear to propel you forward? This is a moment in time. We are in July of 2023. The 60 of you that are here live or whatever, like you're the ones that want to get it done. But there are thousands of people that are going to be frozen in fear. So this is just the opportunity. Just get it going. Deanna wants to know your conversion. How many open houses do you go to get a closing? So obviously, Letty went and did 138 agents at the very beginning of her career. She's closed 18 deals over the 6 months.
Yeah.
She's a young LO that had no experience prior. So I don't know, that seems pretty good to me. How many of you would like an extra 18 closings over the next 6 months from meeting the 100 agents today?
So and I did the calculations from the open houses I did the first 6 months of this year. I have, let's see here. So this past month, I got 28 leads from those agents, 9 deals, and I have 8 approved buyers out looking. And these are just from brand new agents I am working with, brand new.
And sorry, last month you had 28 leads from brand new agents.
Brand new that were from the original, from the first 6 month sprint. Yeah.
So you would, if you're tracking your data, and we use Salesforce, and whether you're using a paper lead tracker or whatever, this is really cool, Chris, because that, when you see the efficacy of something working, it drives us to continue doing it. Why is Chris still doing this 21, 22 years into his career? Well, the proof is in the pudding. And when you know something works, you can get over all the excuses and just do it. And you've done it consistently. And I like that you sprint and then work on those things, and then you could sprint again.
Yeah.
So I would have those agents make sure you fill out a custom field or something in your database that says from sprint sprint fall of 2023,
Yeah, I
right?
like
Whatever.
that.
And then
Yeah.
you can
I
see,
gotta add
yeah,
that one in.
yeah, that's really good. I mean, how cool to tell the story, Chris, 3 years down the road. And you're like, Shayla, I did my first sprint in January of 2022. Since then, this one agent has resulted in 9 closings, which resulted in, $32,000 worth of commission. Was it worth it to get uncomfortable and go out to that open house and put myself out there for a new friendship and relationship that day?
So I will tell you one of the best success stories with this that I had when I first did this in 2019. So that was the first year I did this. I went into an open house, and this was back when I was just winging it. Like, I was just going to open houses. I would just drive around and look for signs. It was before I had like a system. And I met this couple that had the best open house I've ever seen. Like, they had it was like a car dealership on a Saturday, right? Like, it was over the top. And I was like, hey, I don't know you guys, but I want to work with you. This is way too good for the normal real estate agent. And I followed up with them for about 6 months. And finally, at the end of 19, he gave me a chance. And we met for coffee. And from then on, I've been with them. They have now 10 people on their team, and they're probably about 20% of my business, just from these open houses. So much so that it's even helped Letty, because they have some Spanish speaking people and she speaks Spanish, and it's like it's bled over to her as well. So that was just from
beautiful. And you put yourself out there and you followed up. Okay, I'm going to get to a couple more of these questions, because we got to get to the sales part. First of all, Jonathan Warner is watching, and he's a great, long-standing, badass realtor in Reno. Thank you for being on, Jonathan. And he said, listen, loan officers, lenders or realtors don't know what you can do for us. So when a loan officer says, hey, how can I help you grow your business? A lot of times you're going to be met with a blank stare, right? Because maybe they've never had a loan officer help them, or if they knew what to do, they'd already be doing it.
Yeah.
Right? We all need somebody outside of ourselves to say, oh, well, have you thought of this? Have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? So I'm going to jump, that's way ahead in the sales process. But if I was sitting with Jonathan, what we're going to do is find out, how long have you been in the business? What do you love to do? What are your strengths? Like, some people are really good at negotiation. Some people are really good at networking. Some people are really good at staging and, the verbiage of the listing or marketing or whatever. And then I'm going to find out, where's your business been coming from and what are your goals, right? Guys, a lot of times we're lenders. I host calls like this every single month. I do so much stuff for my team. It's like, these guys know their core values. They know their strengths. They know their Enneagram. They know how many calls they need to make. They know how many pre-approvals every week. But if you're a realtor and you're working from your house and you're driving around in your car and you don't have a sales meeting multiple times a week, let alone once a week, they don't have that same energy that we're doing a lot of times in lending. So we get to be that partner that says, hey, can I share with you some of the tools I use? Can I share with you my one-page realtor business plan?
Yeah.
How much money you want to make? Where are you going to get your leads from? Oh, you want to do open houses? Here's some of the tactics that I found with other agents that have been successful. I can't pretend to be an agent, Jonathan. I've never been on a listing appointment. I can't pretend to know how to kill it at an open house, because I'm not the one doing it every weekend. But my job as a loan officer is to study successful people and find out what's working, and then bring those systems and strategies, whether it's Tom Ferry, whether it's, the core realtor program, whether it's all the realtors in the local market that are having success, and keep bringing those stories to other realtors. Yeah. And then figuring out, what are we good at? Like you said, Chris, we could host a buyer class together. Yeah. We could host a client party together. Halloween's coming up. Let's do a pumpkin patch party, and I'll help sponsor that with you. I'll even get on the phone and bang the phones with your database with you. What are the things that we can do together to help drive leads and grow business? Yeah. And like you said, we'll go do a teacher lunch. One of our loan officers, Amanda, who works with Jonathan, found out she had a realtor that used to work at Home Depot and at Lowe's, worked there for like 8 years. And he said, hey, I'm now a real estate agent, but my old manager at Lowe's said that we can come in and buy lunch for the employees in the break room, and we can talk about real estate. She went with this realtor 2 different times for 5 hours each and met every employee in the Lowe's to help that realtor get exposure. And guess what? He was a brand new realtor. She's a very experienced badass loan officer. You think that's a value add? Absolutely.
Of course.
So like Jonathan said, coming with ideas is really important, but I always think about it from 3 angles. What you have, Jonathan, and every other realtor is 3 things: time, money, and stress. How can I help you make more money? Through my process, my skills, and my strengths. If I'm really good at conversion, if I'm really good at sales, if I'm a highly trained salesperson, how can you use and leverage my talents to help you make more money? Through my organizational skills and my intense, fanatical follow-up, how can that make you more money, right? How can us generating leads together make you more money? How can I save you time? So what do I do in my process, in my pre-approval meetings, and my follow-up that's going to save Jonathan time? So he doesn't have to show that buyer 55 houses. He could show them 18 houses because I've created urgency. I've laser focused them on their goals. I've educated them on what's going on with the market with multiple offers. How do I save him time? And then the third thing is stress. What is keeping you up at night? Is it you don't have enough leads? Is it that you have, a mediocre pre-qual or pre-approval and the deals fall out? What is it, those things? So again, I would share with other realtors what they have as stressful situations and how I mitigate that. I share with other realtors what is clogging them up with time and what are successful strategies to mitigate that. So those are like simple frameworks for how I figure out how to be valuable.
Yeah.
Jump into Monday for us. You've gone to these 10 open houses. You liked 8 of them. What are you doing on Monday?
So Monday so I start a 10-week, it's 10 weeks from that Monday. So the first Monday I send out a thank you card, basically nice to meet you, all that kind of stuff. It has my business card in there. I try to connect them on all Facebook, social media accounts, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Get them into phone burner. Also, on Friday, I send them out a text using the Hit 'em Up app called Weekend Warrior. Whoever's working that weekend, it's going to be taking pre-quals, that kind of stuff. The next week, I will call them. So I've added them into my Monday call list at this point. So then that next week, I'll add them into that Monday call list. I do call that first Monday. Sorry, I should have said that as well. How'd that open house go? Is there anything that I can help you with? Did you get a chance to look at that emergency kit? I went through it with you briefly, maybe go through a few things with them, how to follow up with some of those people. Like for you, Shayla, I would have probably hey, did you connect with those people on Instagram? Things like that. Yep. Then week 2, I send them out an email. I have a great email video that introduces the team and how the team is very efficient at getting their people approved, and we get them fully approved in advance, that kind of thing. Week 3, I do another check-in phone call with them. I tell them about an evidence of success or a new program, some trainings that I have coming up. Week 4, I send out a cheesy gift. I usually send Realtor socks. You can get them on Amazon. They're about $15. They have little sold signs, stuff like that. I say, if you work with us, we'll knock your socks off. On then that same Friday, we'll send out the Weekend Warrior text again. Week 6, we do like a cool business podcast. I've been sending out like Ed Milet podcast, things like that via text. Also, week 7, I invite them to start using HomeBot with me. Week 8, I call them to go over that HomeBot type of stuff. Once I get that all about you form from them on week 9, I send them out like an all about you form gift. I mean, it may be a payday. If you work with us, you get a payday. And then finally around week 10, if I've connected with them earlier, I'll probably get a lunch or coffee, but week 10, I'm really going in for that lunch or coffee.
Wow.
So on those 10 weeks, I am trying to push to try to meet them in person at a certain point. I try to get them to come to my office first. I always eat at the same place, which is like 2 blocks from my office. so that I already know what I'm going to order and everything. But I try to get them to come to my office so that they can meet my team. So I want to introduce them. Hey, here's the person that collects the docs. Here's the person that approves the loan. And here's the person that takes it from contract to close. This is everybody that you have working for you every time you turn in a loan.
So I'm going to get to questions again, because there's some great ones here. I just want to ask about the execution of this 10-week follow-up campaign. Now, I will tell you, I've closed thousands of transactions. My team's biggest year was 21, of course, everyone's biggest year. We closed 765 loans that year. I've never done this 10-week. Trust me, I've tried. I had like a folder system, and I move people like this is a business card, and I'm moving them to week 2, and then somebody looks up week 2, and then I move them to week 3, and da da da. I mean, I've tried it all different ways. Obviously, having a CRM with tasking is much easier now to say, you know, this is week 1 done, and you can assign the task to somebody else. Week 2 done. How did you, I'm assuming with Letty being brand new and being a junior on your team, you have an assistant on your team or somebody that is sending the Weekend Warrior text, that is sending the cheesy socks.
Yes.
Is that that's how you executed that for her to keep her going out there, or is she doing some of that herself?
So we have a full-time person that does all of our marketing, sends out gifts, it's just a person that does gifts and everything from beginning to end. That's her only job. She doesn't take phone calls. She doesn't do anything other than taking care of this type of stuff.
Awesome. So guys, this is why I taught another webinar a couple months ago, Chris, about the levels of the business and how you grow through your career. To me, this is why I push so hard to get to 25 leads a month consistently, so that I trust my ability to be a lead generator, so that I can look somebody in the eye and say, you can bet your career, your financial future on working for me, because I will do the work, I will be consistent, I will generate the leads. And I really believe you probably need 5 or 6 closings 3 months in a row to have the confidence and the leadership ability and the rhythm and routine and the stamina to be a fanatical prospector before you should hire someone. Okay. Do not hire someone if you are not going to do this stuff consistently. No. But once you do hire them, you can see immediately how Chris looks like a superstar. Like, you haven't even asked me out to coffee, Chris, and you sent me socks, and you sent me a podcast, and you've been nice and said, hey, how you doing? And did you read this? And you're just like, your reputation of being a guy that is loving and fun and freaking on it. You've now wowed me. That's what we all want, right? As a raving fan, you've now gone from just like, oh, he's interesting, to I am fascinated by this guy. Yeah. Like, how does he pull this off? And when people are fascinated by you and it's a wow, it's a whole different level of play. And Chris, you've done that consistently. So this is cool. Let's go to Megan's question. She said, how do you know who's working the open house? Because obviously most listing agents, if they're experienced, aren't sitting at an open house. So what do you do about that where, John Smith has got the listing and you're sending that Friday email that you're going to stop by, but it's not John that's there?
So it's kind of funny. Within the MLS, it does say who's holding the open house that day. Every once in a while, you'll get there. Once in a while, usually it's the people that didn't respond to the email. And you said, hey, I sent you out an email, and they go, oh, I'm holding it open for John Smith. Right. So you go, oh, okay, no big deal. And you just do the same thing. Like it is what it is. It's just natural. And they're like, oh, well, he's at least telling somebody he's coming by.
Awesome. Tom had asked what's in the packet. Chris is willing to share a QR code that actually gives us everything that's in the packet. And people go, gosh, why would you do that? Why would you do that in our industry? Because guess what? Most of you won't do any of this. Most of you will go, yay. And then you won't start even on Thursday looking up open houses. Yeah. So the reality is that Chris and I are both average people, have had crazy success in this industry. And we actually love teaching people like what we do. I mean, I guarantee, Chris, for you, it's the same as me. Watching Letty close 6 loans this month and seeing her succeed is way better. Way better than your own success. Way better. Okay. When prospecting your weekend open house list to visit, do you avoid going to the same listing agent's house? So yeah, obviously you're trying to hit 100 new people.
Yeah. You just want to meet 100 new people.
So if it was easy on the route and you met the gal Michelle 3 weeks ago, would you hit her open house again just to be like, hey Michelle, I'm in the area again, or are you not?
That's a great one. So if I see a name, if I'm driving to one and I see a name that I know, I'll pull over and be like, hey, I was just on our way to a friend's house and I saw you holding an open house again. Dude, you're killing it. And I go in and just start talking to them.
Cool. So that's another face-to-face on the greatness tracker.
Yeah.
But you're not coming in with a packet or the whole deal. You're just coming to a hey, how are you?
Exactly. Like
Awesome.
I even saw, like I'll see people that I actually work with on a regular basis. If they're holding an open house, I will stop into the open house and be like, hey, what are you doing? I saw you had an open house. That's it.
Right. But you're not the guy that's saying, I'll come sit at the open house. That's what I feel like gets asked a loan officer a lot. Okay. So talk about that.
Once in a while, I will. Yeah.
And what do you do? How long are you there? What expectation do you set?
I'm usually there the whole time. But when I do the open house with them, I'm usually doing it with somebody newer that needs help kind of getting going with their open house. They'll just say, hey, sign that paper when you walk in. I'm like the person like, hey, are you a neighbor? What do you do? Da, 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 da. You know, and I'm talking to them. And then it opens up that newer agent to start to learn what to say when people come into an open house.
Okay. I love it. Let's see. Yeah, generally speaking, there's a diminishing rate of return. If you stay somewhere longer than an hour, what are you talking about? Right. Yeah. Unless you're going to get in the deepest, darkest parts of our childhood. But like, listen, Chris, I don't need another friend. Do you?
I've got a lot.
Okay. We got a lot of friends. I'm here to do business with you.
Yeah.
I want to find out if your goals and my goals align. If what you need is what I can provide you. And yes, if we're doing business together, we are friends and we're having a blast, but we have a productive relationship that's based around doing business together.
Yeah.
So I don't like for me to sit for longer than an hour. We're not going anywhere. I'd rather you come sit on the boat for longer than an hour if we're going to just do the friend thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Which of course you do. But would you please share the forms in your packet? Yes. Okay. Are you open-minded to share with us? Yes. That's going to be part of it. Yes, this is being recorded. What CRM do you use, Chris?
I just switched from Surefire to Shape.
Cool. Listen,
don't use Surefire, people. Don't use Surefire. It's terrible. Okay. Shape's pretty good.
Joe asked about the app. It's called Hit 'em Up. And that's where you can send. I
think it's $5.99 a year, $5.99 for the year. It's the best text app, and it goes right from. So it's kind of cool. You avoid a bunch of different stuff. You avoid all the garbage where you have to have a separate number and all that. And it goes right from your cell phone. You do have to tap it a whole bunch of times because it is sending an individual text, and it's coming from your number, and the text comes directly back to you.
The only thing I would say is try to put as much flair and personality and stuff as you can into things, because when people feel like it's just things are just systematic and formulaic, they start just ignoring you. So that would be my only feedback on switching things up. Like, don't every single Friday send the exact same text with the same.
Yeah, absolutely not.
It just does not feel authentic. And in this day and age, we want to feel authentic and real and messy and, and in it. So I think we had one more. We're now talking about Enneagrams. Katie's an 8. I love it. Okay. Any final questions or thoughts, Chris? We've talked about you're doing a 10 to 12 week sprint. You're hitting 5 open houses on Saturday, 5 on Sunday. You're charting your map. We don't have MLS access in Nevada. So for all of us, we're probably going to be using Zillow to figure out where they're at. The objections might be, well, what if there's other LOs there? So what? Meet another LO. A lot of times our other LOs are best partners. Yeah, they're our best referral partners. They can't do a bridge loan where we can. Or if people feel like you're always going to do the right thing and you're friendly and you're non-threatening, they will send you business. And that's a really important thing to do. So I would meet another LO. When somebody sees that you're not threatened by them and you have this confidence about there's enough business out there for everybody, and I'm going to find and attract the right people for me, and I'm not worried about somebody else, it is super attractive. Okay. I don't know what else could be an objection, Chris. You've basically, you're giving us the packet. You're giving us the 10-week follow-up. What do people generally say when they finally get to lunch or coffee with you after your system?
Sometimes it's I already work with an LO, and I've worked with them for years, and I always want to say, well, then why are you meeting with me? But I don't.
I would, but that's Shayla's style. I'm really bold.
Okay.
So I might say, so Chris, obviously you could tell that I am serious about my business. You really stood out to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have put in all this effort for the last 10 weeks. But I want to know from you, like, how does it feel for you to be in my world? Like, what's brought you to lunch today? And then you might go, gosh, I've been blown away, blah, 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 blah. Or you might say, well, Shayla, I just felt bad. Like, I work with another LO, but I just felt bad because you put in all this effort. And it's like, well, that's awesome. No matter what they say, it's awesome. Like, I would tell you that having a solid backup person is probably the best business decision you could ever make. And most people don't do that.
That's usually where I go.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's usually where I go, even though I just kind of want to be a dick and just say, whatever.
Well, then why am I buying you lunch? Times, Chris, does somebody at the end of your open house though go, oh my gosh, this was fantastic. Like, can we meet this week for coffee? Or
things like that happen as well. Like there's a matter of fact, Letty, she went into an open house, heard somebody complaining about their loan officer, sat in her car until they walked out and was like, hey, here's my card. And she closed the deal. So that was one of them. So that also happens too.
All right. So the point is, guys, be bold, be willing to get uncomfortable, be willing to put in the work. If you put in 3 hours a weekend plus an hour of prep plus, so let's call it, we're talking about 4 hours a week for 10 weeks. That's 40 hours. That's one work week to see 100 agents. Like, there's just no excuse no matter how or which way you break it down. And I promise you, if all 60 of you went out and did this, you'd still never run into each other. Because there's just an abundance of opportunity. It's a great time to be out there. Again, if somebody's working on the weekend when it's 100 degrees and it's the summer, they're serious. Like, they want to make business happen. Those are people I want to meet. I don't care if they're 1 day in the business or they're 32 years in the business. They want to do business. And those are awesome people to come from. Thanks for the gratitude, you guys. I can't wait for you to get started as well. Adam, any other final thoughts? What was your favorite part of the call? And did you get what you came here to get? I love the feedback. Let's see that. Bill on Facebook said, what is the name of the text program? Is it Hit Em Up?
Hit Em Up, EM Up.
Yeah, HITEM Up, Hit 'em Up. Let's see, what else do we got coming through? 5 messages. Thank you, guys. Totally doing this. Great presentation. So worth it. Where's your QR code, Chris?
Yep. Want me to share?
Yes, please.
There you go. That just has all the forms. You guys can take those forms, tailor them to yourself, do whatever you want. Just as long as you're giving value. Yeah,
don't take this and be a douchebag, okay? I don't hang out with any douchebags, Chris. So these are all incredible people. I'm vouching for them.
Yeah, and the little sticker. I mean, you buy these red folders. We just had those little stickers made on. I forget what she made them on, but it was, I don't know. She got a whole roll of them. It's super cheap.
Killer. Kevin Red, I haven't seen you in a while, brother. Thanks for being on. Thank you, Carrie and Dennis. Good to see you. Diane, Dennis, I'm so proud of you for being here because you and I had to talk about getting in front of more agents. I want to hear what you did. For any of you that go out and put this effort in place, whether you get to 20 agents or you push yourself all the way, like, hit me up on Instagram or an email or a text or whatever. Like, there's nothing more than Chris and I get a high off of is sharing our passion and what's worked for us and seeing other people do it and have success. So let's stay in touch. Thank you again for being on. Chris, you are sincerely a generous, awesome guy, and you're inspiring all of us with your fanatical prospecting.
I'm buying it. I'm buying it.
All right.
See
Thanks
ya.
for being on, everybody. Bye.